somehow.
I can see you. Can you see me?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I see two of you.
How do you see two of me?
I don't know. Trying to figure that out without hanging up on you. Weird. Weird. Hello?
Hello?
I still see you. Anyway,
Can
hi.
you not see yourself in the very corner at the top?
Nope, I see you yourself.
Go into the little dots. See the little 3 dots in the corner?
Yes.
Go in those dots.
No, it's not.
Turn on incoming video. Does it show?
There I am.
Did you got it?
There he is.
Did you got it?
Blur my
I
background.
hope I'm recording.
How fun.
But yeah, it's all blurry except for your face.
I did that on purpose. Is that weird?
Okay, cool. No.
How fun.
I hope that this, and from what I remember, doesn't it go back and forth depending on who's talking on the recording? Okay.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've done this. Hello, babies. Nice to see you, babies.
So we're recording now, right? Yes. Yay.
We're recording. Welcome to the Creepin' It Real show. The ever professionals here. Bringing you live and face to face to the two hostess with the mostest.
Yeah, face to boob. Also,
yeah,
there's a thing.
And babies and drinking. Cheers to Moni.
Woo!
Hello. And if you want one of these beautiful Creepin' It Real cups,
it's blurry.
Yours is blurry. There it is. You can get one by joining the highest level of our Patreon. So, which, by the way, if you're seeing this, you're on Patreon. So, congratulations already. We're so professional. But if you're listening, you can't see us, which means you're listening to us through the podcast. And we are holding a gorgeous copper wine, whiskey, whatever beverage of your choice tumbler. And it says the Creepin' It Real show on it. So if you join our Patreon and you sign up for the highest level, we will send you one. You're welcome.
You're welcome. You. Yes. So Kristi looks all beautiful, and she always does, but like she looks really, really pretty. And like, I was laughing because I just got home from work and I administrative and mini much kick people's asses. And then I'm all sweaty and whatever. And I'm like taking my hair down and I'm like, what a librarian stereotype that people have that we just take our glasses off and put our hair down. And it was funny because I'm literally like taking off my glasses, pulling my hair down, like unbuttoning one button of the cardigan that I've been wearing all day. And I was like living the stereotype right here.
Moni, the librarian, turns into the sexy horror queen at night.
Well, co-queen, but yes, definitely, for sure.
Kristi, the marketing person, turns into the marketing person at night. Woo, exciting!
Your lashes are divine. I wish I had a face right now. You don't have a face.
What are you talking about?
It's okay. Who needs a face? What's a face?
You got the boobs. My cleavage game is weak this evening, but you get a little peek anyway.
Just the tip. They gotta pay the higher levels if they want more.
That's right. It's called Pornhub.
That's true. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I'll try to rein us in just a hair. Tonight we're going to do some just fun, here's our recommendations of what to watch when it becomes the season of what we all know and love, Halloween and all the other festivities. And when we start getting into gear of all this is the stuff that we like to listen to and watch, not listen to, but watch. I like to scare my daughter and the shit out of my daughter and her friends by, always going towards some of these movies. I put a through softies in there just because they are kind of true to my heart. So we're going to go over a list of our favorites for Halloween, besides the obvious Halloween. That's just a given. And honestly, not the biggest fan of Halloween. It's not. Like,
yeah, I know you're out of here. Boo with that because it's my
I don't like slasher. Okay, so I think I've said this 1,000 times. I don't like slasher films. I like creepy paranormal or sci-fi or something that fucks with your head. I don't want. I mean, I get it. Everybody with a knife or a chainsaw can kill people. Like that's just a given. So I like the really fucked up weird stuff. So a lot of my stuff on this list is going to be fucked up weird stuff. And Moni is the slasher queen, so she's going to do all the of the slasher stuff, which a lot of the stuff you've seen, or maybe some of it you forgot, or honestly, it just might put you in the mood to watch something where maybe this is a hard year for you and you're just not in the Halloween spirit, but listening to this or seeing some cleavage might put you in the mood to watch a good horror movie. It's time to do it. I mean, it's always time for me, but some people wait for their season. So this is what we're going to do tonight.
There you go.
And if you're listening on the podcast, then know that if you go to our Patreon, you will see us live and in color, in living color, on Patreon, and you can watch a video of us having this conversation again. So you can like twice. You can just memorize it.
Twice is nice, baby.
And you can support us because we are trying to, I'm going to talk about this in the front in case we lose y'all by the end. So we are trying to raise money for our trademark and all our legalities that we need to do for the podcast. There's a lot of copycats out there. Already we have some copying us, and we have seen the news of other podcasters that are putting out the warnings that don't be like us. There's other ones that are experiencing this shit right now. Mm-hmm. So Moni and I talked about it and felt like it would be best if we trademarked our podcast and tell other people to take a hike. And so with the legal paper. So with that.
Legally fuck yourself.
What was the story? You had a story to share with your hair? Oh, no, that was the librarians. Was that
the librarian thing? Although I do have an update. Last night we did our H.H. Holmes Part 2 episode. And I do have an update of the ghost story that I told from the library.
Yeah.
It was where basically they had a pizza place was in where the library now is, which it's a mall branch. And the other day I basically was there alone, experienced someone standing in the corner. I could tell he meant no ill will, so I just sort of smiled and shrugged it off. But now staff is experiencing things, and I did talk to the team over there today, and apparently someone else was there alone, another librarian, and she started to come out of, they have like a back room that has storage and everything, and someone started pulling on the doorknob. And so she stood back. It's a really tiny space. She stood back to let them come through, and nobody came through. And so finally, when she went to walk out there was nobody else in the building whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So, and it's a pretty heavy doorknob. I mean, it's a mall. There's no windows open. Like, that was not a fluke, it was a strange happening.
So I got to ask you, because I personally have these types of beliefs because of situations that I've been in, being like, quote unquote, like partial sensitive, partial empath. Do you feel like you're present, because Moni is one too, and you get us together and all kinds of crazy shit happens, like seriously, even in hotel rooms, like crazy shit goes on. But do you think that your presence there is kind of igniting some of the activity that maybe had been a little bit dormant, or maybe not have been as noticed from before you got there?
I hate to say that, because the branch manager there is really afraid of this stuff, and that was kind of what they were teasing me about, and I was like, that can't be it. But apparently, they've worked there for that branch has been in existence for a couple years, and they haven't had any issues with this guy,
right?
Even though knowing that he died there.
Behind it. Yeah,
I know. So I don't know. The other thing that could be contributing, we have a small like Dia de los Muertos shrine up right now, and it's actually got some items that come from Tijuana. So I don't know if like some of the items sort of stirred things up, but they did have it up last year and they didn't have any issues. I guess things are starting to go missing and being found in weird places. So who who knows? It's all about
And the
me. It all
guy,
just wants me.
and there was like a death in that area.
There was a death in
So
that building.
it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with that
Yeah,
particular
but I mean, unless
event.
something in that is stirring it up, I don't know. So
Mhm.
it's interesting.
Interesting.
He seems to mean no ill will, but actually went in there. I tried to catch it when there was no other staff, but they were already in for the day. But I was gonna just kind of be like, "Hey, I'm cool with you. Obviously, you were here first, but I don't want you freaking out the staff anymore. If you could just kind of cool it when they're around, because yeah, like moving items is kind of annoying because they're trying to get shit done in there, you know. So
Yeah. I
we'll
think the
see.
interesting piece would be to call back to your old library if you still have connections there and
Yes.
find out if there's been any activity since you've been gone. And that would kind of explain, like, possibly you are the catalyst to the activity.
Oh boy. Yeah, because when we had that long night of talking to all of the different spirits that we encountered at Escondido Library, one of them did say my name and say that he knew of me from being around there. So, oh, that's an interesting question. Yeah, because Dan still works there. Dan, who's been a guest on our show. So
Oh,
I can
okay.
ask
Yeah.
him that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Interesting. I don't know if I like
Very
it. I feel
interesting.
like you just like therapied me, but it's like ghost therapy. And you're like, you're the catalyst for these things. And I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with
I'm
that.
not
I don't
saying
know.
you are. I'm saying it seems like a pretty big coincidence that you were having the activity that you were having at the old library, and then you leave and you go to this new library, and this stuff starts kicking up, and people are kind of like, this never happened before. And they're half heartedly joking, like, oh, you brought it. But the fact is if it never happened before you got there, clearly there's some sort of like draw or catalyst or something of you being there. Like people that have certain energies draw things because they know that you will see them or you will
Yeah.
acknowledge. Whereas a lot of people that just go on about their day and they don't see or acknowledge or have an energy that is open to that, they don't. They're in their space and these people are in their space and they all coexist separately. Whereas when somebody steps in the space that is like a magnet to that, and they're like, oh, that's kind of like, oh, she will see me. And then that heightens up the activity, and then they get more bold, and then they start being around other people, and other people start seeing them too, because it's like you've like in like you've given them like this energy boost to kind of become active again. So
Great.
a possibility. I'm just
It's true.
spouting out of my ass, but it's something, I mean, I've seen. So to have this conversation, and I was hoping I would get this done before Halloween, but it doesn't look like I'm going to unless I can do it tomorrow night. I don't know. It was probably about 6 months ago. I went to my girlfriend, one of my best friends, who's she's my hairdresser, but she was my friend before she was my hairdresser. Um, I went to her condo, and it was me and my kids, and Rick and her, and then another girlfriend of ours. And the kids and Rick were inside Jamie's condo apartment, whatever. It's like a studio, like one of those big with the high ceilings, kind of industrial, hanging out. And me and Jamie and her and our other girlfriend were sitting on the patio. And we had been drinking pretty heavily that day. And I just like, as they were talking, I was like, did you guys hear that? And they were like, what? And I'm like, I heard a man as clear as day talk into my ear. And he
Oh,
said
nice.
something like, now I'm trying to remember exactly the words, but he said something like, hold on, I'll be right back, or just wait 1 minute, or something like that. And I was
Oh,
like, okay. And so I was like looking around, and I'm looking on the other sides, like thinking there's people. Nobody, it was late. And I'm like, and it sounded like right in the vicinity of us, like right around us. And I'm like, I heard as clear as day. I heard a young man.
oh,
And she's like,
wow.
well, why do you say he's young? And I'm like, he wasn't a kid.
Yeah.
I'm getting like 20s, like a 20s young man. And he was just, it was almost like at first he was responding to our conversation like, yeah. And then he said, oh, on that, I'll be right back, or something like that. Just weird.
Wow.
And I was like, I know what I heard. And Jamie was like, it wouldn't surprise me because she has 2 dogs, and one of them is a Rottweiler and one is a bulldog. And the bulldog, she said, had lately been freaking out in her apartment. Like there was a stranger there. And she was like, but the other dog wasn't doing, like, didn't see anything.
That's interesting.
And so then, like a month later, she was like, you're never going to believe this. So her and her boyfriend were in their bed, and the bulldog starts growling and looking out the bedroom window. So when you're in her bedroom and you look out her bedroom window, you can see like the studio, like the kitchen and the island and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And Birdie, the bird dog, or the bulldog, her name's Birdie, was looking out the bedroom door, and she was at the end of the bed growling and barking. And then she turns her head into the bedroom, and Jamie's like, get your camera. And so he gets his camera and he takes a picture, but he takes one of the pictures that does video, takes the picture of video.
Yeah.
So as he's taking the picture, the video goes in and you can see this like flash of light, and then it shoots across the bedroom.
Nuh-uh.
And you can hear them both going, whoa, like freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see Birdie's face, like head do this.
Nice.
So then she called me. Because I told her I wanted to try to go and see if I could get anything on video.
That's like some Poltergeist level Infinity shit. Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I want to get something for the show. So I look, because the construction on this place is brand new. And and then I missed this piece. So before she got that on video, I stayed the night at her house, because usually she lives kind of like 20 minutes away. And so if I'm drinking, I'll stay the night at her house. And as I was asleep, and I had a dream that I was in her bedroom and I was looking out the window, but what I was looking at was not her condo. It was apartments. And I remember the exact design of the apartments. I remember like there was like this garage huddle thing, and a car was driving by, and I was talking as I was looking out the window. So I go and do research. Apartments used to be where her condo was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to get over there, because they say the veil is thinnest during Halloween
right now.
And she called me, and she was like 2 days ago, she called me, and she said because they had never heard anything, they just saw that one flash of light.
Wow.
And she said that 2 days ago she called me, and like during the weekend, they would hear murmuring, like almost, she goes, I describe it like Peanuts teachers, like when it was like wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
And she said that she called a friend of ours that's a psychic, and she was like, that makes sense. So the veil is getting thinner the closer you get to Halloween. So people that wouldn't normally hear the voice are starting to hear, but it's almost like there's a wall,
look it up too, because I think going just after, like when Dia de los Muertos takes place, is a little bit after. So look there, because that might even be a better time if you don't make it by Halloween. And then Mercury's going into retrograde too, so there's a lot of shit happening like right around Halloween.
It's a big retrograde too. It's not
just we're all fucked.
So anyway, I'm super excited. I want to try to get it. I want to try to get something on video. I'm going to try to rent one of those recorders that you can do, that's supposed to record spirit voices and stuff. So
I have one of those. Yes. It's not that expensive either. Like $40 or $60 maybe, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah, you need to send me the link so I can go get one.
Yeah, I think I either got it on Amazon or eBay, but yeah, but new.
I need to get one on Amazon so I can get it like immediately, because I want to get it as soon as possible. But
if I make it into the library prior to them opening, that was my plan, was to actually nicely tell it to sort of knock it off, but to record it, at least voice record, so that we could see, what it had to say, if anything. So we will see. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, so I'm excited. I want to try to get it definitely before the veil closes, and maybe we can get it easier on a recording or something on video. I mean, I'll have to send you the video that she sent me. It's crazy.
Yeah. Can we post it? Will she let us post it?
I'm sure she will.
That would be cool.
I'm sure she will. Yeah. And there's no there's no denying this isn't like a light reflecting. You know what I mean? It's not like a car light or something. It's clearly like a ball
Something
of light
in the middle of the night that just went,
that like shoots, and it leaves like a trail, like as it goes across. And the dog's like,
it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so but that's because it started with the dog growling and then me hearing his voice. And then she said like clockwork at 10:30 every night sometimes, and like days at a time. There'll be the birdie will sure enough start growling, looking in corners like she sees something. And she's like, it's like clockwork every time. And I'm like, well, maybe it's more of like a residual thing.
That's cool, though. Whatever. Yeah, so it's like reoccurring the same. Yeah, maybe.
Like some sort of energy is just trapped there. And she's Native American. And so she's got a lot of, I mean, she doesn't see or hear spirits, but and this is the God honest truth, can communicate with animals.
Nice.
Like legit so cool. Communicate with animals.
Wish I could do that.
One time, this blew me away when I had my old dog Lola. She was very close with Lola, and her salon was at the end of my old street of my house, and I used to walk Lola to the salon and visit her. And one time she came out and she was petting Lola, and she looked up at me and she said, the back patio light is burned out and it's really bothering her. She doesn't like to go outside. It burned out.
Oh my God.
She's like, she likes to go outside with the light on. And I'm like, you're right. The light burned out last week. And she's like, she wants you to replace it. Like, she's more comfortable that way. And I was like,
the dog says, okay.
Like, she would have no idea that light had burned out.
That's like some Dr. Dolittle shit for sure.
She does that all the freaking time. There's like this rescue place that does these rescue dogs, and they put them out on the lawn and everybody comes and pets them. And she would go and sit down and she'd be like, this one's got a blanket. And she's like, yeah, her blanket. She's like, so you took her blanket. She likes to have her blanket at night when she sleeps. Like, she will and they're like,
nice.
Oh, okay. Just like their mouths
is nuts, but also like undeniable. So
there's no it's not even a question. She's like, so there's a guy that used to come walk him. Like, yeah, she misses him. Like, who was that?
Aww.
She's and they're like, I mean, and I just stand there and she will spin. I'm like, come on, we got to go do something else, because it's like on a row of like bars and restaurants and stuff. And I'm like, let's go. She'll just sit there and like, okay, so him, oh yeah, he's going through some shit. Like, he came from a really bad, he's afraid of this or that, or she's not, I mean, you can't not believe it to be around her. It's crazy. But anyway, moving on. We're all just, what are we? How long have we been recording?
Like 30.
It matters. We do what we want. It don't matter. So, all right. Well, you want to head over to our picks for the Halloween or just the fall winter season?
Yeah, the stuff that we like to watch around this time of year. And I've mentioned this one on the show a few times, but Candyman is among my favorites. Be My Victim. I don't have a hook though. But I'm really excited for the remake, and that one creeps me out every time. And you just saw it possibly for the first time?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I did, and I was really mad at myself because the first one I watched, I wasn't a really big fan of. So I was kind of like, yeah, all right. It's got to, like, I was excited that Peele was taking it on and redoing it, especially with, I mean, I knew that it had a political message, and I remembered that because but apparently I was watching probably like a part 2 and not watching the first one. And so when I watched this one, I was like, I'm going to give it another try, because this was like 25 years ago that I watched whatever one I watched. I don't even remember. But so I was like, I'm going to give it another shot because it's coming up, and, I want to be refreshed. Yeah. And I watched it, and I'm like, this is not what I watched. This is nothing like what I watched. Holy shit. And became a huge fan after that. So I'm excited with you.
You're a convert. Yay.
Oh, totally.
Be my victim.
But yes, I want to be in a threesome of that. But moving on.
I know, right? They're both so gorgeous, honestly.
Yeah, I'm like, just give in, girl. What you fighting?
I know, right? I'm like, there are worse things. There are worse
And
things.
by the way, like her boyfriend or her husband was trash. Like I called, like
Right off the bat.
very
Plus, he was
shitty.
fuck as fuck. Like, whatever with that guy.
Yeah, he was just the biggest piece of trash, and you could tell from the first, like, oh, he's gonna be an
His dick
asshole.
game ain't good. He had trash. Like, bye. Bye, boy.
So my first pick is one that my daughter picked, but I also like, and so I asked her because I was kind of trying to look for some brainstorms, and we watch some scary movies together, and her girlfriends come over, and we all sit around the couch and watch scary movies. So this was her pick and mine too, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Is Insidious. I like it because astral travel. Hello, fellow astral travel here. So it
The
speaks to
red
me.
guy that comes up behind them while they're talking. Holy fuck! Anyway,
Yeah, that guy. You know what? The part that really freaks me out in that movie is the one with the little boy,
the
like
record player, right?
yes,
She's home alone
that
with the baby,
music,
and the music comes on, and it's really creepy ass old music. And then she walks by, and the audience can see him like hiding behind her, but she doesn't know. Oh my God, every time.
Yeah. And then he starts doing this weird dance, and I'm just like, you know what? I'll pass.
Oh God, yeah. I loved that movie until the end. I don't love the end. I know we disagree there, but I even tried watching it again. Like maybe I was too hard on it, but I watched it a second time and I was like, I still just can't get past that ending. But it's got some really great elements to it.
Yeah. Yeah. That can't happen when you're astral traveling. So I get like that whole like really, but it works for me. It's a movie. So I don't like, oh, that could never happen.
Or could never.
Because
hey,
most
people
don't
could never talk to animals, and yet, there we are.
And here we are. And most people don't believe in astral travel just in general. So I personally do because I have done it. So I'm a believer. But so, all right, Moni, what's your next pick?
New to the list for me is It Chapter 1. And you know what? Not only does it scare me, not only do I think it does a pretty good job dealing with the major themes in the book, which Kristi and I have read, but also I have fond memories of it because our very first ever episode 2 years ago was a review of It Chapter 1. So for all the right reasons, I really like that film and I like to revisit it sometimes.
It is a good one. I agree. And I think they did it right. So I wouldn't necessarily say chapter 2 was exactly perfect. I mean, it was fine. But chapter 1, you definitely can't touch that one. That's a good one. So
also, I'm getting real-time reviews from creepers right now. I have a couple friends who listen to us IRL, and they are texting just to say that our H.H. Holmes our volume 2, the second one that we did, the thing that you'll know when you hear it, creepers, made them laugh so hard that they're like shitting right now. So they can't stop laughing. The split. They're having as much fun listening as we are when we record these things.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sometimes real life's way better than stories.
Apparently Kristi's life is.
You know what? It's the patheticness of being old and just like the experiences of just trying to be normal again is very fucking funny. The links you go to is all I'm saying. And by the way, that level 7 horny is it works. So hey, y'all, if anybody's out there that's struggling, or if your wife is, and for the love of God, don't approach it that way. Not just that, but the whole like hate everything, anxiety, and yes, lack of sex drive. It happens because when a lady gets older and you're losing your hormones, that shit goes away. It's not just like, not because you're not the sexiest beast ever anymore. It's just because we just seriously can't even think about it. I totally recommend the pellet hormone replacement. Like, as far as, and this is not an ad, this is just me giving you my recommendation.
They should like give us some money. I'm just saying.
I will totally talk to them the next time I go in and be like, hey,
give us some money. Because I'll stick something in my butt for money. Wait, what? I'll try their hormone therapy for money.
Girl, you'll stick more in your butt for more money, is what you're
No
saying?
DMs, please. No DMs. Hey, girl, I got something for your butt.
You want somebody in your butt?
No, I don't. I really don't.
Yes.
Your next pick is an underrated film that I also really enjoyed.
Yes. I love this movie, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, and I watch it. I seriously probably watch it every other month. I'm not lying. Like it is one of my. I watched it the first time, and I was like, "Oh, this is a good movie." Moving on, but now I'm like, I want to watch it all the time. It's really fucked up. It's really good, and I love the witch, the whole Salem witch thing. Oh, I dig it. And I seriously think once we can get past the trademark thing, our next one of our upcoming Patreons after the other one that we're talking about doing is me and you going to Salem, Massachusetts.
Yes, I want to go so bad. Yeah. Let's do it.
I think it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Our next girls trip should definitely be there. Mm-hmm. But yes, this movie has everything. It's fucked up. It's got a hot dude. The girl is gorgeous, and you see her naked. And then there's some really fucked up stuff that happens, and then like zombie. There are all kinds of crazy shit in this movie. It's so good. It's good. People die that you don't want to die. It's just good. If you haven't watched it, watch it. So, but don't watch it with like huge expectations. Like I went in not knowing what the hell this movie was about, and I was like, oh, this is good. Like, don't go in it thinking it's going to be amazing. Just go in with like a clear, happy mind of it's the season to see some new shit.
So. Yeah, new shit. But also some old shit.
This is not new shit, Moni.
No, The Nightmare on Elm Street, which I have fanned all over prior to this discussion before, but I love that one. I still love that one. I love me a young hot Johnny Depp before he was the Johnny Depp we know today, who's kind of icky.
Oh, he's awful.
And also some of the kills are like come up through the bed and they're like and the thought that you have to sleep at some point. And most of us have nightmares at some point. So it's just kind of creepy to know that you are not safe because you have to fall asleep sometime.
It is a classic. And it's so funny because when I think about this movie, it brings back a lot of memories of me when I was a kid because I remember watching this movie and it scaring the shit out of me when I was a kid. Yeah. Doesn't do the trick as much anymore as I'm older. Just again, I've kind of gotten away from the slasher stuff, but oh my gosh, like I remember as a kid watching that movie and just being like, oh my God, I'm never going to go to sleep again. And singing that song. 1, 2,
Freddy's coming for you. Yes.
Yeah. I sang that all the time. I wasn't creepy at all as a kid, was I?
Not at all.
So this is my most underrated movie, in my opinion.
Because I love this one.
Love this movie. I just watched it 2 days ago. And again, I was like, damn, this is such a fucking awesome movie because it's such a cool concept. And you know, when you've got Breaking Bad dude in there, that it's a good movie.
It's got a Hemsworth. It's got Chris Hemsworth before he was Thor. It's got everybody. I got to see this movie before it came out. I used to get like advanced screenings. And they had it before they had like all the special effects in it and everything. And nobody in the movie, I was like, Chris Hemsworth was fucking hot, but he wasn't Thor yet. He wasn't like the guy you knew. And Sigourney Weaver's in it. Like everyone's in that film. And I remember I saw it and then it had some issues in production where it didn't come out for years after I saw it. And then it finally did. And I was like, that one movie. And I revisited it. That movie's amazing.
Yeah. So it's Cabin in the Woods, if you guys haven't guessed. I love this movie. Because the movie, it starts out hysterically in an office environment. Like they're literally, I think, at a water cooler, like having a conversation. And it's like you're in an office, just like a normal office. And then all of a sudden it clips over to, you know, the teenagers and you introduce yourself into the teenagers and and their, you know, typical, we're going to a cabin, you know, party. But the good thing that I like about it is because at the beginning of the movie, when they introduce you to not teenagers, I guess they're like young adults, but they're young kids as far as I'm concerned. They should get off my lawn. But anyway, and so they establish themselves at the beginning as clearly not the stereotype of young adults that you normally see in these types of movies. But as the movie keeps going, you see them turn into those stereotypes, and they're calling it out. Like, they're actually calling it out that they're turning into these stereotypes. And then actually it becoming this like underworld office space. It's just such a crazy movie.
It is.
I love it. And then I love when one of the main guys gets killed by the merman. Like, all he wanted was to see the merman. And then in the end, like, he actually dies from the merman. But anyway, it's a major recommendation. I think it's perfect for Halloween. It gives you the great mix of slasher that Moni loves and that most people love for Halloween, but also introduces the most fucked up underworld crazy shit that I like. So you just can't go wrong.
Literal fucking trash panda. Come here. You're going to be on the show now. You want to be on the show? Hold on. I have somebody to show you. This guy.
He does look like a trash panda.
He is literally, I've got some stuff under here, travel size stuff in my suitcase, because I don't bother unpacking anymore because I travel so much. And he's waiting while we're recording, and he knows I'm distracted. He's getting underneath the table, and he's stealing like little lotion bottles, which he takes under the bed, and then he'll just hear munch, 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 and he's like exploded a lotion bottle.
My dog did that with my travel shit too. What is that?
And like literally the kids will leave like trash around, and he'll take it under the bed and eat it. And like he's a literal, and he has a little black face, the little white eyes. He looks like a little trash panda. Shithead. You got to be a guest on the Creepin' It Real show. You're welcome, you little shit.
Congratulations.
Sorry, I totally interrupted you, but I was like, no, get out of here. Stop. Anyway, 1408, speaking of traveling, is it's Stephen King, it's John Cusack.
Me some John Cusack.
Yes.
And Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
And John Cusack is stuck in a room that has all kinds of horrors going on. I haven't watched it in a minute. I need to revisit it, but
he's an author, right? Or something?
Like aren't they always
writing a
stories
book or
something? Like Secret Window, like all those. But he's an author. He's stuck in a room. Lots of horrifying shit happens. It's a little bit like The Shining, but like in one room. And I think it's a really good one to watch, especially when you're traveling a lot, when you're alone in a hotel room. And I like that one.
Good pick.
I need to watch it again, though, because I kind of forgot most of it.
Okay, so my next one, again, I like the fucked up shit. The Witch.
I like that one.
I did, too.
It's a very polarizing film. Like, people either love it or they hate it.
I think they weren't prepared for, like, what the actual concept of the movie was. They were expecting something different, maybe? I don't know. But
I think more like in your face and jump scare and kind of stuff.
I liked that one. And this one, and honestly, and this sounds really lame, but anything by M. Night Shyamalan, I'm obsessed with. So this can be interchanged with like literally Signs.
I love Signs.
Devil. I love Lady in the Water.
Mm-hmm.
I like Devil in the Elevator. Mm-hmm. Are you talking about that one? The elevator one? I like that one. I just really dig his stuff too. So this was kind of like, okay, interchangeable with a lot of different things, but I went with that one because Witch, Halloween, I felt like it was but Devil's a good one too.
I love the voiceover too for The Witch. Like the guy that narrates the whole thing sounds so awesome. And
I also like The Village.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of them you can only watch once. Because you know what's going to happen, and then it's kind of like takes away from most of the movie where they're in the village and it's like pilgrim period, and there's a monster of kids. Hello.
And isn't The Happening? I never watched it because I heard it was horrible. The Happening, where it turns out the trees are trying to kill people or something.
You know what? I like that. First of all, people are very critical of M. Night. They expect every single one of his movies to
he's kind of an asshole human is part of the problem. He's like, if you don't like my movies, it's just because you're dumb and you don't understand them, which is kind of been like, ew.
I still totally dig him. I love his movies. I love Lady in the Water. It's like one of my favorite go-to trash movies. Like, If I need just some sort of like boost,
Mm-hmm.
that movie makes me feel good. I don't know
Oh,
why it makes me happy. I think it's just,
Signs kind of has that
um,
element too, where there's like
oh,
about having faith, basically.
yeah, I think like Lady in the Water is that even the most mundane life can have purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole entire movie is based around an apartment complex with just normal people. But in that apartment complex, there are special people. And like, I think that is a huge metaphor for life. I mean, just because you're not the like water nymph of the movie doesn't mean you don't have an important part in life or society or to somebody not important to somebody else. And so it just makes me happy when I watch that movie. I love that movie so much. So, but that's not really like my Halloween movie. That's my just whenever movie I watch that one. So, but yeah, The Witch I felt like was a good pick for Halloween. And I watched it last Halloween. So,
Mm-hmm.
I put it on my list. It's on my list. What's yours, Moni?
I too actually that I used to. I'm not a big Christmas person, but Black Christmas and Krampus are two horror films, and Krampus especially mirroring, bringing in kind of the holiday spirit of the way that it's supposed to be, while by poking fun at like the way that it usually is and that it shouldn't be. And what I mean by that is like family dynamics and all the ugliness that leads to the Krampus coming to basically take his vengeance upon this family. And then they learn what matters. Spoilers. They learn to love each other, but then the really nasty ending is that they find out that they're actually stuck in like the perpetual Krampus world inside the snow globe. So I love it because it's like it's got the feel good, it's got some humor, some legitimate humor, it's got jump scares, it's got creatures, and it's again the feel good of loving each other, but then it's also still has a very like horror movie ending of like they're still all fucked. Black Christmas gets an honorable mention. Black Christmas very much reminds me of my favorite of all when we've done our episodes on urban legends,
Mm-hmm.
the babysitter, like go
Yeah.
upstairs and check the children.
The
It has
calls
that whole
coming from
element.
inside the house. Yeah.
Yes, so they have that whole element of basically these co-eds in college are still back behind in the sorority house for the holiday, and they're drunk and they're whatever partying, and some guy keeps calling and he's like, killing them left and right. And I think they do a really nice job with it. And I'm talking about the original, fuck the remake, and then this new sequel or whatever the hell they're doing that's coming out soon looks
Yeah. Another
it's all about
sequel.
women's empowerment, but it looks terrible. It's Bloomhouse, I think, though, which I usually enjoy their stuff well enough. I'll see it, but I'm not going to run to the theater for it. But anyway, the original 1972, I want to say, Black Christmas. Two thumbs up. I know Christy's not a big slasher person, but I think it's well done. And yeah, Krampus. Those are my two get ready for fuck you Christmas time.
I personally love Christmas, but okay, my next one is not a horror movie, but it's got some creepy ass weird shit going on in it. And this is so I'll have to give you the backstory to this movie. Me and the girl I was just talking about that has the haunted condo apparently. Her and I, this is our movie. Like we have a routine. In fact, it's supposed to happen I think tomorrow night after she's going to do my hair finally. Lord have mercy, I need my hair done, but I call her my hair whisperer. But so we are going to go to the store and we have to get, I know this is going to be gross, but boiled peanuts because that's a southern thing.
Okay.
And bugles, the chip, and peanut M&Ms, and wine,
Okay. I'm in.
and margaritas, wine and margaritas, and those foods. And we will sit down and watch Practical Magic.
Nice.
And it is our favoriteest movie. And Trash Pandas got agrees with me
That's the big
100%.
boy. Sorry. I'll even mute it while you're talking. Ugh.
No, you're fine. So that's what we do. So that's our movie. It's we're not necessarily like, identify with a certain character. That's just our favorite movie ever. And we get our pajamas on and watch Practical Magic every year at this time, and it is amazing. And if you've never seen Practical Magic, it's got some fucked up stuff in it. It isn't just like there's literally like a dead guy trying to kill people.
I have to admit, I don't think I've ever, if I've
Oh
watched
my
it, it was like when it
gosh.
came out and I was like really young, and I don't know if I've seen it since.
Oh, it's so good. It's
Okay.
so good.
I need to check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it's our jam, and it's definitely my favorite. It has like out of all of these movies, it's my favorite Halloween movie for sure. I have to watch it every year. So that's my pick. That's my next pick.
We're talking about new additions to our lineup, and I would like to submit Terrified for all of y'all's consideration. Terrified is a Shudder original. I think it's Spanish, so it's not in English. It's one of those read-in
Portuguese,
films.
yes.
Oh, Portuguese. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of them read-in films, so you gotta like stay awake and shit that I don't usually like to do. But I think the concept is,
Worth it.
yeah, super original. Like Kristi said, worth it. It's kind of hard to talk about that one without giving too much away, but
Oh
dead
my
people come back from
gosh.
the dead. There's like some fucked up stuff. You should see it. There's a thing that comes out from under beds, which is always everyone's deep-seated nightmare. You should check it out.
It is worth. Like, I hate fucking subtitles. Like I
Yeah.
will not do it.
That
But
and Train to Busan was actually worth it as well. So yeah.
yes, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And Raw, although was
Oh, that's
Raw
right.
Raw was good too. Or was
Yeah,
did
Raw
they
was good.
English? Or did they
Veronica was subtitled, wasn't it?
Veronica was good.
Veronica was good. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to choose between all these, but by far I have to say I have like top horror movies, and I have to say that Terrified is in my top 10 of all time. That's
Yeah.
huge to me.
I tried to make my husband watch it, and of course he shit all over it, so it kind of dampened it a little bit for me, but I'm still in.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Watch movies with him, girl.
I know.
My dude knows just to not speak. Just watch it. Even if you like it or not, just watch. Just watch.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
I'm talking during the.
You're there to look pretty, okay, boy.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Buy me my wine and sit here and be my companion. Maybe rub my neck or an arm, but otherwise. Shh.
Well, that's it. My husband's playing with his phone the whole time, so I'm like, play with your phone and don't watch what I'm watching. Then I don't know. Anyway.
This is why we have separate TVs. Anyway, coming on the play of top 10 of all time on my list and new additions to Halloween movies is Hereditary. Just watched that while I was sick this month because in fact, Rick watched it with me and he was like, I had seen it at the movie theater like we did because we did the review, but I was like, I'm going to watch this again. And he came and got in bed with me and started watching it, and he's like, the head part came with the ants, and he's like, what the fuck are you watching?
Oh, and Colette's performance.
That
the
movie,
loss of a child, like, oh my god.
That movie, not just that, everything, all of it, the entire movie is pure fucking genius. I'm sorry. I love that movie so much. The ending with the oh, motherfucker. Because at first, I did not know what she was doing. Like, I'm like, because it's dark, at the end of the movie, and she's like up against a wall, floating on a ceiling. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And you realize she has string wrapped around her neck, and she's slitting her own neck, like cutting her own neck off. That's shit. That's
You've
shit
never seen
right
that
there.
before.
That's some shit.
Too. Yeah.
That and the kid getting her head knocked off with the ants crawling on her face.
Yeah.
And everything in that movie was new.
The kid goes home and it's like, oh my god.
Yes.
And Nicola discovers it. Oh my god.
Oh my god. And yeah, he just crawls in his bed like, night. I mean, I know he was in shock.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But still, like, what the fuck? And everything in that movie was new. Everything. Yes. There was nothing redone. Like, it was so original and just so fantastic. It is in my... It's hard because it's new, and so I have to place it in, like, my movies that I adore, that I grew up with. So it's hard to say it's number one, but it's in my top 3 for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that movie. It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Which means watch.
Yes. Speaking of things that are really fucked up that you should watch, also new
Yeah.
additions.
Ooh,
This one,
shit, really fucked up.
it's still staying with me is part of why it's on my list. Is Incident in a Ghostland, in the Ghostland. It's another Shudder original. You don't have to read it, which is lovely. I feel like I've read some horror books and I've had some like weird imagination stuff as far as so basically what it is and it's something we all do, flip off someone on the road. I do it all the time. And it's a bad idea. And so this guy is like bearing down on them on the road, and then the girl flips him off. And then next thing you know, it's, these two young ladies and their mom living alone, no man's. And these two home invaders come in and they start with, hey, like they followed him because they flipped him off, pissed him off on the road. So it's scary as shit because there's a little bit of an element of what's real and what's not. And there's also a lot of human doll, like being made to be a human doll while being raped and made to be a certain way, and it takes away their physical beauty. It's hard to explain. It's very dreamlike, well, nightmare-like, really. And it's absolutely like whatever you could imagine the worst case scenario of someone. Okay, if someone wants to break in, God forbid, they want to rape and torture and kill you, you're dead. No, they keep you and they keep on like doing all these things systematically over time. And
And
it's
over.
so fucked up. It is so messed up. Don't watch it if you don't want to be wrecked for life. But I mean, isn't that what you're here for? So,
Yeah.
Incident in the Ghostland, Shudder, check it.
Yeah. So I have to give a shout out to a friend of mine who I work with. A lot of people that I work with do not know what about my podcast, but one guy does. He is a peer of mine who's a director in another department, and his name's Biff, and he is, we always recommend horror movies to each other, and he listens. So, hey, Biff, how you doing?
Yay.
Nice. Thanks for listening. You're awesome. I recommended Incident in a Ghostland, and some of them, like, he did not get terrified. Like, he was like, it was okay,
Mm-hmm.
But I recommended Incident in a Ghostland to him, and he was like, that movie fucked me up. Like, he really. Yeah. So if it fucked Biff up, like, like, it's worth a watch. It's so bizarre, and again, it's such a original concept that it's definitely a good movie to introduce yourself to if you've never seen, or definitely to add to your Halloween playlist.
Ooh, the playlist.
Speaking of something that could become a classic, which would be a little Jake Gyllenhaal and some crazy, scary, stuffed bunny rabbits walking around in your nightmares. Donnie Darko! Woo! Yes. And that movie fucked with me.
That's a good one. It's one of my favorite. I didn't even think of it as horror, but it is. I like it a lot.
To me, it is horror because first of all, the first time I ever watched that movie, I didn't, again, like you, didn't relate it. I didn't know it was horror. I was just kind of perusing through, and this was years ago, like a decade ago, maybe longer than that. I can't even remember when I watched it, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? This is insane.
Yeah.
And it's a classic. It is one of those movies that I think is kind of like a cult classic, like an underground, bizarre, weird. A lot of people have never heard of it, and I don't want to spoil it, but it is a movie. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal when he was younger, and it's got a crazy bunny.
Got a crazy bunny.
I don't want to spoil it, so it's kind of like
plane crashes, you gotta watch it. And
yes,
suburban nightmare, and
yes.
Cabin Fever. I just added this. I was thinking Cabin in the Woods is the same as Cabin Fever, but I love them both. Cabin Fever. Oh fuck, I forgot. Oh, Eli Roth. It's an early Eli Roth,
it's a good one.
it's got some really hot people in it. It's got some really funny moments.
That ended up being covered in sores, by the way.
Yes, and that is kind of hilarious, though, like a commentary on modern like sexuality and STDs and sleeping around, though, because like at one point they're pretty much like, we're all gonna die, we might as well fuck, and then like afterward you see him putting Listerine on his dick. It's just like
he's like, I don't know what to do, but Listerine ought to help.
And there are some moments for all the men who are like, oh my God, menstruation's so yucky, like that will scar them for life, which is great. As he's trying to sleep with that young lady and finds all kinds of blood, and it turns out she's like decomposing. So yeah, some really good stuff. Oh, and the scenes with the homeless guy where he like keeps walking up to them and they're like, no, we're gonna kill you, stop it. And like, yeah, there's some pretty fucked up moments in that. You okay there?
Great. Sorry.
Anyway, the sequel is actually pretty interesting, more campy. I haven't
seen the sequel.
It picks up right where that one left off. It's pretty fun. And then there's like a 2016 remake, which I don't think is very good at all. So there's options, I'm saying. If you like the first one.
I do really like Cabin Fever.
Try some more. Try some more. Try some more. I don't know. Twice as nice.
I like anything where you catch shit and like you're sick and shit's happening and you don't know what's happening and then some sort of infectious disease that.
And it was Eli Roth, I think, pre-Hostel or right around that time. So it was like not when he was so like Eli Roth and all that comes with that. It's just a good movie.
Agreed.
What's your next one, girlfriend?
Oh, my next one's a classic.
Dun dun dun.
Great Prom. Not very
Pig's
popular.
blood.
But surprisingly, you get voted prom queen. And bum, 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 get covered in pig's blood.
No.
Are you here to bring me more wine?
I hate it when that happens.
Like to say hello on the video?
Hello on the video.
It's a podcast. This is my...
Hi, cutie.
My child. You're on our podcast. But
yay.
She's like, hi. She's my wine 1-1er.
That's smart. I need that
text
service.
Wine 1-1, and guess what happens?
I get the babies to bring coffee. I haven't gotten them to the wine level yet.
Coffee?
Yes.
Coffee's hotter than wine, girl. That's wine.
The 6-year-old makes coffee for me in the morning and brings it. It's amazing.
Keurig, like
service.
Kudos to you.
I'm getting there.
Anyway,
gotta put these little elves to work. Anyways, yes.
Right, they are slaves. They are aware that they are slaves.
I'm really doing it wrong because lately I've been the one that does the things and I need to go to the other way. But anyway.
Well, you gotta switch it at a certain point, but they're still young. So
they're
you
little.
got time.
They're little.
Mine is fantastic because she drives now. And
like, go get me some more wine.
Yes. Like, all I have to do is get on my phone app and order groceries and then schedule a pickup, and she goes and gets the groceries, and then she unloads them, and then sometimes she makes the food, and then it's pretty freaking fantastic. She takes herself to the doctor. She takes her brother to the doctor.
Oh my God. I need the service. 1-800
All because we gave her our old car.
1-800 teenager. Yeah.
You were going to get a new car anyway because that thing was old, but now we give it to somebody else and now they're doing all our shit for us. Like, win-win. Win-win.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Carrie is my next pick. I love her. I love that movie. I love when she's in the shower and she starts her period and she's freaking out because she doesn't know what's wrong. Thank you, sweetie. She's like, oh my God, I'm dying.
And they throw tampons at her, don't they? Like, yeah.
It's so sad.
So nice. They're so supportive of other women. It's great.
Awful. And that's why they all die in a big flame.
In a big flame. I like it. I do. You kind of look like her, like the redhead, kind of pretty, and you're just ready to be like, whoosh. So one of my picks, and this is one that I watch every year, it's Trick or Treat. And I've mentioned it on the show before. And it's another one of those. It has Anna Paquin. I forget who else. It has a lot of really hot chicks.
I love Anna Paquin.
Yeah, she's
I don't think I've ever seen this movie. To be honest
my God, girl. It's so good. It's a series of short stories, but they all sort of end up being connected by a character who is known throughout pop culture horror world as oh my god, his name just blanked out. Oh my god, the little guy with the thing. Fuck. Steve, our listener Steve just tweeted about it because it was his first time watching it.
A leprechaun?
No, Sam. Sam, he looks like a little boy in a costume, but he's got like a lollipop that's like got a cutout on it, and so it's sharp. And if you mess with his Halloween, he will kill you really bad. So,
not ringing a bell,
girl. So no, his
name
is Sam. His name is Sam. And then I went to the Comic-Con Museum last year for some kind of Halloween thing they were doing, and there was a little boy exactly the same size as Sam in the movie, who they had completely head to toe dressed as Sam, and then he was breathing that way too, which was like, and it's like I knew it was someone's kid, but I kept like head on swivel. So yes, it's a really cute movie. Well, not cute. It's pretty horrific, but it's got humor. It's got social commentary. It's got actors you'll recognize. And again, if you get bored with one short story, there'll be another short story, and it sort of like continues on. It's really good. They keep talking about making a sequel, but so far, no dice.
I will check it out. That is one I don't know about. Okay, so my next pick is a movie that is a horror movie. It's a zombie movie, but so this is me and my daughter's movie. I love this movie so much. It is got what's his name? John Lithgow.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the guy that used to be with Jennifer?
Oh, Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah. Lawrence. She got married to someone else entirely. Holt. Yeah. Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas Holt is the main character, and it's about zombies, but it's called Warm Bodies. And I love this movie so much that I literally just use Halloween to watch it again because I watch it all the time. It's my closet movie, really, to be honest with you. But I think it should be in the Halloween list of Hall of Fame, to be honest.
I don't think I've ever watched it in entirety. Oh I know the premise, but yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
So good.
So good. It's so good.
You got a debt. You gotta watch it. You gotta like it.
What if I don't like it? Then what? I get my money back?
Come back.
The price of the podcast, do I get to give it a 1-star review?
We might have a problem if you don't like it.
Can I give a 1-star review to the podcast because I didn't like the movie you recommended? Is that how that works?
Or you say fuck.
And menstruation. Oh my god. Next movie.
Speaking of slits, all those people out. You gone now?
Speaking of sluts and slits, there's always those kind of people, girl. I was at a concert the other day, and it was Joan fucking Jett, and these guys behind me were like, I don't want to stay and listen to Joan Jett because her face isn't hot. And I was like, you can't listen to rock and roll music that you paid to come see because she doesn't make your weenie happy, it was basically. And he was like, and men should always be on top. And I was like, wow, that sounds boring. And then he was like, what else did he say? Just men should always be on top. Joan Jett doesn't make my weenie happy. Oh, then he started talking about how people that he knows have tattooed their names, their girlfriends' names on their penises. And I was like, excuse me, how does that all work? So I had to Google that, and that turned into a really bad rabbit hole to go down.
I think it's painful for me to listen to this
to even think about it.
He sounds like a piece of shit.
They were both. And it's like I'm sitting there rocking out to Distillers, which is a female-fronted band. And
were they like 16 or?
No, these were like white. They're probably the same keyboard warriors that like say that they don't like our show because fuck. So yeah. Anyway, I'm saying those people will always exist.
They don't exist in real life, like people walking around.
I'm telling you, they're not getting any panties to drop. That's all I'm saying.
Not shocked.
Anyway, speaking of slicing, I think we said something about slashing. Scream is one of my all-time favorites. Still, it's very 90s, early 2000s, but it's still what's up. It's still that talk about things that you at the time you hadn't seen before. And I've talked about how I'm always freaked out by the thought of being able to get killed with someone right there with like next to you and they don't realize that you're being killed. And then it has the whole again with the babysitter like guy is already in the house trope where she just keeps getting the phone call.
Nev
Like just
Campbell. I mean, she's fucking awesome.
Nev Campbell, you've got Drew Barrymore, you've got everybody who's
Barrymore.
Skeet Ulrich.
I would like to be in a Nev Campbell and Drew Barrymore sandwich, please.
For sure. Anyway, so that's one of my favorites. The sequels are pretty good too. Oh, Courtney Cox is beautiful in that one. She's beautiful now. She was beautiful then. Anyway, it's a good film.
And I like David Arquette.
Yeah, he's funny in that. He plays his part well.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh man, get packed, man. Okay, so my next pick, we're getting into the end, by the way, y'all, in case y'all are like bored as fucking shit. So I have another pick. I like Drag Me to Hell.
I like that one too.
Weird. I have a huge crush on Justin Long.
Really?
Oh, I do. I have a total closet crush on him. I follow him on Instagram, and I always watch that movie, She's Just Not That Into You, because he's in it, and he's hot in that movie.
Accepted is really good, too.
Accepted.
Yeah, that one's so cute.
And there's another one, The Breakup. He's in that movie with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
And he's in Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, you're right, though.
Have a huge crush on him.
He has a boner.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you're hot. Sorry. Not sorry. So I like Drag Me to Hell anyway also because it has curses in it and old ladies that are gross.
Gross. Raimi always goes over the top with the gross, which I appreciate though.
Oh, totally. And then like the old lady with the demons and then the girl, because she's kind of a badass and she's like, hi, motherfucker, you don't got me. And then they totally get her. They did it right. So I do salute Drag Me to Hell. And anytime that movie's on, I'll watch it. But I will definitely put it on for visitors or my child and her friends if they're looking for something to watch that is during the Halloween season. So
very nice. Are you back, Trash Panda? I heard you got
Justin Long. By the way, Justin Long, call me. You're on my card, and it's laminating.
He's like a low key celeb. I wonder what he actually does IRL. Right, I like him.
He has this weird I'm just nothing, and look at me. I don't really have much to offer, but he totally does. I can tell. God.
The Strangers is one of my very favorites.
So good.
I made our sometimes guest co-host Dan watch it after in a hotel room, and then I was like, "And now go to bed, bye." And like,
what
he had fun dreams. He liked it, and especially, I mean, it's so realistic, especially at the end when they spoiler actually like tie them down and killed him in real time on camera, and you don't usually see that. They kind of usually drag that kind of stuff off camera, but I felt like, what is worse than seeing someone you love killed, knowing that you're also going to be killed? It's just the ultimate nightmare, and it's just really well done. They really build the suspense well without it being boring either. I think the story of the two people who have had their lovers quarrel where their engagement breaks up is really compelling. I just think it's a really well told story. It's unfortunate that they even made a sequel and got my hopes up because it was awful, but anyway.
I didn't watch it. Okay.
Oh my God. And Liv Tyler in the first one, hot, and she has a sex scene and it's all good.
So I'm thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they were kind of the first to do that couple in crisis type movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Gerald Game but it was a book, so you can't really incorporate that one.
Yeah.
But The Strangers, I think, was one of the first movies that I watched that it was literally starts off with, we're really in a bad place.
Yeah. Oh, couples relationship and gotcha. Okay, I was like, there's lots of movies where there's two people that are, I gotcha.
No. Crisis. They're not doing well. They're going there to figure their shit out,
It
and then
seems to
bad shit
psychologically
happens.
play into some of it because they don't necessarily trust each other anymore due to what's been
Right.
broken just that same night. The whole engagement, it was set up to be an engagement celebration. So the strangers play off of that where they fuck around with like the rose petals and the stuff that's in, and like at one point one of the female strangers gets a hold of the ring and wears it and sort of creates that whole psychological where the other woman is like, I really should fucked up and I really should be wearing that ring. Like, and I think they
Yeah.
also were had their heads up their asses upset that they weren't paying attention to each other's needs and to what was going on
Yeah.
around them. So yeah, I think you're right. Cause I think her non-boyfriend then was like more willing to be like, shut the fuck up with your saying that someone's outside. I don't fucking care what you have to say right now. Like that kind of stuff was interesting.
Yeah. But then after that, there were a lot of movies that came out kind of in that like concept of that there was this troubled relationship, and
Yeah.
it built off of that. It just seemed to be the catalyst of that whole theme of, yeah, couples, but it was always like happy couples, or maybe they were happy but the dude didn't believe her or whatever. But
Or
then this
somebody's
was the,
cheating. Yeah.
for me in my mind, and that's why I'm asking, like, call me a liar, but it seems like it stands out to me that this movie was one of the first that they, from the beginning, called out, this couple they're in a bad place. Like, this is
Oh
not going
yeah.
well. And then that just loads on, the shit loads on. And it was almost like all these other movies were like, oh, yeah, that's a whole new option to take, is that
Sure.
couple's in a bad place. So,
Yeah.
um, besides Gerald's Game, which, I mean, that was a book, so I
I
don't.
mean, theoretically, they were in a good place by the time they got tied up. But anyways,
Yeah, but they got there because they weren't all doing so good.
no,
But
for
yes,
sure.
agreed. But yeah, that, to me, The Strangers kind of set that precedence for horror, where they created this spot for couples to be a theme, but not doing good theme,
Not
which
doing good.
creates a whole other element of horror, because when you're in a bad place, like you said, the trust and all the shit that goes down with it.
Mm-hmm.
So love that. Love that element to it. So okay, so my next pick is my number one movie. My number one movie. I'm sure it has a lot to do with the fact that my age when this movie came out, and the effect it had on me at that age. It just is like, if you're not in that age group, you don't quite get it. But Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist, to me was changed my fucking world. It just was a huge eye opener of movie to me. Just everything in it was horrifying. The clown, the tree, the stake, the peeling the face,
Ugh,
everything scared the shit out of
the
me, and I
clown
loved
dragging
it.
under the bed, I see over and
Yes,
over. Yeah.
it was. I think what really got me about it is I had a very dysfunctional childhood, and to see a family that was so functional and so healthy go through something so fucked up, it was like, oh, so not every, just because you have a
Oh,
good
yeah.
family doesn't mean, that things are healthy. And
It's
that's
every
ridiculous. Like,
suburban like
yes,
trope too. It's such a perfect setting to have all that shit go
everything.
down.
And it kind of drew me to that, for that one of those reasons is, oh, I have a fucked up, parent. I have fucked up parents. I have fucked up childhood. Uh, I could identify that at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
then watching it and going, so even if my childhood was perfect,
The
it
shit could
doesn't
still
mean
happen.
shit can still go bad. I guess
Mm-hmm.
is kind of the theme of that. And I was having paranormal things happen to me at the same time. So it was just sort of this nice bridge for me, but it was also just fucking scary. Like, it scared the
Mm-hmm.
shit out of me. So what am I? It is my number one movie. I love Poltergeist. I love it. The original is, you can't touch it, in my opinion.
Can't touch
Seriously.
this. Da, na, na, na.
You can just see, um, you can see MC Hammer scrolling across the stage with his hammer pants, as far as my Poltergeist is concerned. So,
Nice.
and then I got one more honorable mention,
Honorable
because we
mention.
Justin Long. Jeepers Creepers, really?
Jeepers
Good
Creepers.
movie.
Where'd you get those peepers?
Damn, he's
Jeepers.
still hot in that movie, even though he was a
Pulls his
kid.
eyes out.
Oh,
That, I don't know who did that, but that thing that we posted to our Facebook page, which was somebody having a turned over car with the fucking creeper on top of it in front of their house for Halloween.
You posted that.
I posted it, but I got it from my boss who got it from someone else. I don't know who originally did it. Whoever did it, holy shit, I wouldn't even be able to trick or treat at that house. Like, I would just be like, that thing's gonna move, and it's almost unkillable. No, thank you. Like, no, thank you at all.
Agreed. It's awesome, and I think that the Jeeper Creepers dude is scary. Although Moni, Jeeper Creepers 3.
I think it was 2 that was bad. Wasn't 3 okay? I can't. No, you're right. Vice versa.
That was your recommendation for a movie review.
I know. Everybody should go watch it just to suffer like we suffered.
2 was the one with the school bus.
Yes.
It was a football game.
A lot of people to kill in interesting ways in that one. So
yeah, that was okay. The first one's the fucking best, man.
So good. Justin's long. Justin Slong. Call me Slong. We know you're packing.
Okay, so you skip. Okay, we're gonna skip me, and I'll go after you. But as far as TV shows, so if you're not keen on movies, but you want to like binge a TV show, Moni, what do you recommend for Halloween for binging?
Early X-Files, particularly the Eugene Victor Toombs episodes, because we all need to sit on the toilet and assume that something's going to come up and bite our asses. What did I put? Haunting a Hill House. I need to revisit the entirety of the first season. I wish that they were dropping the second season right now.
So good.
Need some more. What else did I put on there? Early Walking Dead. I don't watch the show anymore. I fell out with it a long time ago. But the early seasons where he's like in a tank and a horse and he's fighting and he doesn't know what's going on. And like his wife leaves him for like another guy because she thinks he's dead. Like, holy shit, they really ramped up both the human and the dead drama in the beginning. And it's genuinely scary. And it's genuinely heartbreaking when you have to part with characters that you love that were like father figures or best friends or whatever else. They did an amazing job the first couple of seasons, and
also, I don't know if you realize this, but I remember this as like it was yesterday. Is The Walking Dead premiered on Halloween night?
Yes, and the little girl.
I can totally see why
it's synonymous.
Bridge the two is that for the first couple of years, The Walking Dead premiered its seasons on Halloween night. It was a huge deal.
Yes.
Oh my God! It was everything. It was groundbreaking.
It's
The Walking Dead was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead, as far as if anybody doesn't remember, when it started, it was groundbreaking. Mm-hmm. The show, a horror show, did not exist.
Rick Grimes was a lovable character. Everything was on point with that show.
Yeah, it was genius. It was a great show. I give total props to that show. And yes,
I wish they'd stopped it a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know if I wish they'd stopped it, if they'd maybe just done something different. I think sometimes you just need some zombies. Like, there are ways to incorporate a little bit more of the zombie element instead of the human element and the drama. And they went more towards the drama. And so they kind of lost me on that. And I don't fault them. It just, for me personally, was not. But it's still going. So I don't know. Some people are watching it.
Yeah,
they're making up their money. That's all I know.
Yeah.
The guy that is doing my documentary for my day job films some of the show for The Walking Dead, and he's like, he's like me. He's like, yeah, I stopped watching, but he knows what's going on.
Sure.
And he's like, it just keeps going. Like, it's paying for itself. Like, he's like, I'm assuming they're just going to keep going until it stops paying for itself. And I'm like, well, that's a shame, because man, that fucking show was huge the first 3 years. my God.
Oh, and still the fandom, which breaks my heart. Like all these conventions, these cons that I go to, people are super still into it, and or like the conventions that the showrunners will pay for all your lanyards, so thousands of lanyards go out, and people are just like, "Oh, this show!" Like it's just not the same reaction as it used to be.
Yeah, yeah. True, but I totally, when you put that down, I was like, man, yes, because I do remember it being Halloween night and sitting down and being like, hold on, I gotta watch the
Everybody
first
gotta shut
episode.
up. I gotta watch this. Yep.
Gotta watch the first episode of Walking Dead. This is iconic. Like I was so excited and had been waiting for it. So it has deserved its place, and it's a good pick for sure. I agree. For me, I gotta go with a show that I literally grew up with, The Twilight Zone, and I think it's probably a certain generation that truly understands or appreciates The Twilight Zone. I could be wrong, but I was on the back end of that because I was not, like, everything I watched in The Twilight Zone was a rerun, but I was obsessed with that show. Going through what I went through as a child, first of all, with the weird shit that I saw as a child, scared me. My parents didn't believe me. Hands coming out of the walls, red eyes in the closet, growing up in a haunted house, fucking getting trying to be picked up by a serial killer, like all the shit I went through as a kid. It is not normal.
No.
And so when you sit down and you watch something like The Twilight Zone, it somehow acclimated me to my life, my real life. So I have to say, like, I didn't have the parents that kind of guided me into believing or trusting or hearing what I was going through, but I did have something. And it was The Twilight Zone. And even though not everything mirrored what I was going through, it was just something weird and unusual. And again, a rerun of the actual like show was way before me, but I watched the reruns and I was still obsessed with them.
Yeah.
And so every year I watch The Twilight Zone, and I have to get through every episode, but I'll pick and choose when I need to. But I'll read what I wrote because I did write a synopsis. I said it put the scary and strange into the TV in digestible pieces for a 7 to 10-year-old, which is when I watched it in the beginning. Its messages are timeless. They truly are timeless. Rod Sterling wasn't just the narrator, who is the guy at the beginning of The Twilight Zone. He was also the creator and the head writer. And most icons in horror were way ahead of their time. And he was no different, and created and introduced themes that were very controversial at the time. I binge the series at least once a year if I can fit it in, but if not, I will like pick my favorites. But even after I pick my favorites, I still have to keep watching. It's just my thing. Like I love it so much. And I try to forget and be surprised and excited about each episode that I watch. So racism, conformity, the folly of war were all explored under the umbrella of entertainment with The Twilight Zone. And I am not saying this lightly when I say that I am literally a better person today because of that show. Introduced a lot of political messages to me as a child when I was around people that weren't necessarily on the right side of things. It showed me a better message and a better behavior than what I was exposed to. So I'll just leave it at that. It's a huge groundbreaking show for me. And I think everybody that truly understands and loves horror and paranormal should get through at least the show once, like the entire series once. Just some of them, you're just going to be like, eh. And then some of them, you're going to be like, whoa. That's what it's for. It's just it created what we have today. So I have to pay homage to it. It is the best. Rob Sterling, you're awesome. R.I.P. dude. Thanks for giving me a opportunity to understand that I am not a freak. So love it. Gotta get it. You gotta do it if you haven't at least one time. So otherwise, you make it a every year thing for which I'm saving it because I have to have surgery on the 10th of December. So I knew, okay, I'm going to be out for 2 weeks on surgery. So I'm saving it for that time. So that's that. So that's what we got. Did I miss anything? I
don't think so. Oh, there's your boobs. Hi.
Ooh.
Hello.
Just little shadows. Yours are. Well, they were. There they are. So pretty.
Just one button away at any given time. And on that note, I don't know what our next show is. It might be Pumpkinhead. It might be a mystery. We're not sure. But thank you for doing this extra show with me.
Welcome. Thank you.
I was talking to your boobs. I wasn't talking to you. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, sorry.
And
thank you for your boobs for doing this show with me. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. We're so in trouble. This is why we can't get sponsorships, kids, but I'm okay with it if I can see that.
Show. Oh, my God. We could change it to the Creeping It Boob Show. But then Yards has to show some cleavage, too. So.
All right, y'all. Well, this is it. This is the show. Thanks for joining us. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome for joining us. Wait, what?
What else to say? That's that. So here's our boobs. Here's our pics. I would love to hear what y'all thought. Pics, not your boobs. I mean, if you want to show me your boobs, by all means, show me. But your pics for the Halloweens is also invited. I don't know how to get out of that, but and if you're a dude and you show me your boobs, you can show me your boobs too.
Hairy boobs, hairy man boobs are welcome too, because they're boobs
hairy,
too.
Non-hairy, saggy, non-saggy, whatever. Show them.
All boobs matter. Hashtag all boobs matter.
All boobs do matter. Sorry, but they do. So, and butt cheeks.
Huh? I was about to show it, but my pants don't match my shirt, so I'm done.
Not show your butt. I've already seen your butt crack when you walked away. She has her pajama bottoms on, y'all. Dude, secret. And she got up and she walked back, and there was
lucky I'm wearing pants. My God, this is the time of night that I'm not wearing pants. As soon as those kids go to bed.
You know what? So we're gonna be real quick. This is our third night in a row we've done a show.
We've been working our asses off.
We have been working our asses off. Not on top of doing this show, but just our jobs.
Yeah.
As well. And Moni's not traveling or on a plane. She's doing this show. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys
some point. So
yeah. At some point she wants to spend time with her kids. Weird. So anyway, and me too. But my kids, they don't want to spend time with me anymore.
Yeah, they're big. Mine are like, why are you still working? What is happening? So yeah.
So anyway, I want to just thank Moni really quick for spending this extra time, allowing us to have these extra bonus shows, because this is the season and we do like to put a lot of content out for you guys for this. So thank you. I hope that you join our Patreon, and we have a lot of good stuff coming up on Patreon. I don't want to talk a lot about it because we're excited about it, but we do have some good stuff coming up, and this is just the beginning. So I hope we're worth your $5 a month.
Fuck yeah, we are.
And, I mean, it's not even a Starbucks coffee.
We're with your mama's $5. We're with your $5. We're with your trash panda's $5.
All of it.
All of it.
So with that, would you like to give your creds?
Yes, I am Moni Bear across the board. Come find me. Some of you have reached out, and that's been awesome. So thank you. I'm so tired.
Honey, go bed. Okay. Mine is Creeping at Kristi on Instagram. Thank you guys for following me and responding and being engaging. And then on Twitter, it's creepin_it. And then we're also on Facebook. All you have to do is search the Creepin' a Real Show. It's not that hard.
No.
And you'll find some funny content because we do like to engage there too and post some funny shit. So with that, we are here gone. Bye, boobies.
Bye, boobies.
Bye, boobs. Okay, now I have to find.
I'm
pulling this
hello.
down. I'm not trying to show
me
you
too.
my boobs.
I'm just trying to pull it down to find
turn the show off.
Find the bye-bye.
I love you, Moni. I love you, Bones, and I love your boobs. Yay. And I can't wait. And by the way, do you realize almost a year ago was when we hung out at Winchester? But
oh my God, we got to do it again.
Love you, honey.
Love you.
I'll talk to you later.
Night.